Coach, obviously not the outcome you would have wanted, kind of a wild back and forth matchup, top 25 matchup. Your overall thoughts?
Yeah, we got to play defense. I mean, our team can hit. We can also play defense because we showed that. But I think we need to wrap our head around playing more passion rather than emotion defensively. Our pitchers have more in their tank than what we brought today. So, I think there's a positive in how Grace came in and got stronger and better, because we're going to need that throughout not only this week but the season. And I like how we didn't lay down. Like, we just kept fighting. We kept trying to put the game in motion. One or two calls go a different way. We catch one or two balls. It's a completely different result. So, but I think we need that. We need to stop relying on the walk-off. I know we are very good at doing that, but I would like to play a whole solid 7 innings like we did against Ohio State.
Jada Cody moves to 5th all-time in RBIs. Can you speak just what she means to the team and what she means to you?
Yeah, I mean, she's definitely somebody that just shows us how we can do it. I mean, starting off the game like she did, her at-bats. I know people were probably expecting that last weekend, and she's disappointed when she doesn't come up big for her team and for our whole program. But I think it's huge how calm she was in her at-bats, how she was able to use all parts of the field. But what's even bigger is some of the defensive plays that she made tonight. And she's a huge part of all those different pieces for us.
Talk about the power we've talked about over the weekend. This is the most deepest power lineup you've had. 5 homers tonight, tying the school record in a single game. And Sarah Willis, really unbelievable, showing her power to hit the center and right field. 2 homers. Really comfortable look like tonight at the plate, therefore.
Yeah. I thought Sarah did a great job of making an adjustment mid at bat, pitch to pitch. And so you're going to see that from her. She has a lot of power. She can hit power to all fields. And do a lot of things. So it's really just making sure we stay focused and play one pitch at a time with her. But our power throughout the entire lineup is there. I still think that we need to manage our short game and getting the game in motion a little bit better, and not only rely on the long ball, because we could have put that game away with just some smarter decisions and a little bit more execution from some of our speed game and putting the game in motion.
Back on pitching, what was most frustrating to you tonight about the pitchers?
Well, I mean, if you ask them, they're better pitchers than the type of contact that was getting hit off of them. Missouri is a great hitting team, and I'm going to give that to them. Those top 3 hitters are very good hitters, and especially the 1 and 2. But we prepared better than what we showed today, and I mean, I don't care if anyone knows our scout, we still can hit better spots than we did. And I think that's the big thing, is it's all about location. Felton can get ahead better. And, I mean, she was ready to come back into the game. We tie it up. So I just think that speaks to, who they are, what they are, and continuing. I thought I saw some good things from Cochran today. And, again, with Grace. I would like her to just, we make that error with the pop-up. I want her to jump back and say, I'm going to put you on my, I'm going to put the team on my back, and I'm going to get this out. And that comes with some of those failures and then grinding through it. So I think the big thing is playing pitch to pitch.
How do you coach the pitchers? They're so young. You mentioned you're learning them. Mm-hmm. On the one hand, you got to address the negative there and the misses, but on the other hand, you want to keep their confidence up moving forward. So how do you balance that out?
I don't know. If you have the answer, let me know, Ela. But no, I mean, I think the biggest thing is trust in our relationship, right? So they know that I love them and I care for them, and I appreciate the hard work that they put in and their willingness to get better. I think the biggest thing, and what I told them is, you cannot hesitate. You have to have belief in what we're doing. And if we're going to go down, let's go down hard with what we've been talking about and what we've been working on, not the what ifs and the doubting is the big thing. But they're all capable of doing it. They've all shown that in many different ways. And so, we had some firm talks, but we'll love them up again, and we'll work on some stuff in the bullpen tomorrow. and understand that it's not going to get easier from from here on out, not only for the rest of the week, but for the rest of the season. But again, I love that we were in that moment right now, because that's a team that we could face later on in the season.
How prepared have these first few games made you feel for Clearwater?
I don't know how. Clearwater is a tough one. I think I do like that we've had some of the mistakes that we had right now, and even in the first weekend, because we held off on those mistakes last year and made them all in Clearwater. So I think having some of those mistakes moving forward, a lot of people on the team having that experience from last year under their belt, because it is definitely a World Series atmosphere and environment. And again, there's no breaks. I mean, we're playing all top 25 teams every single day, and so there's no breaks. And so, again, I think it's really focusing on winning one pitch at a time, small victories. We can't just go after the W's every time, because it's, what matters most to us is how we win and why we win. So I think that's going to be the big thing. I like how we're getting, contribution 1 through 9, and people talk about the home runs, but Lala Macario have a day, right? So she's really doing her job at the bottom of the lineup. So I think we're prepared in that matter, and defensively we're starting to figure out some shifts. It's hard when you're playing against behind that many different pitchers to know, what's this pitcher's field, but we're figuring those things out as we're going, and now we just need to speed it up a little bit.
You talk about the experience of that last year. Do you think there was a little bit of awe in that moment for a lot of the players last year?
Last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they knew what to expect, right? So, and I think that, we're gonna face that same thing again. We're traveling the day of the game on a bus. We're gonna get down there. There were a lot of people. Warm-ups were a little different. Like, you're waiting right next to all these fans. They're asking for their autographs. So it's huge for our sport and for our women. But then being able to stay focused and locked in is also another thing that we're battling and working on. And I think that, it's a huge thing for any athletes these days. There's a lot of noise and distraction out there, which is all positive, mostly positive, but still being able to stay locked in is really tough. So I do think there was some kind of like, oh, what is this? Why are there so many people? We weren't the Florida State game, and we had all these Florida State fans cheering for us, and people were like, what's going on? They just love softball. There are people that are coming across the country, even some internationally, they're coming to watch that game or those games there, because it's the best softball on the weekend. So it is pretty overwhelming. Even as a coach, I'm like, just trying to go to the bathroom and I can barely get through the crowd. So those are things that we're not used to, having the Plex and our space. So I like that we have a lot of returners that have had that experience and can say, hey, this is what happened here, this is how we got through it. So I'm excited to see how we roll. But again, one game doesn't define us, one pitch doesn't define us, one hit, one inning doesn't define us. So I'm encouraged by their will to want to come back and respond, and let's see what happens at practice tomorrow.
Great exposure for the program, too. All eyes will be on this tournament. It's the marquee tournament. Your last game against Mississippi State will be the primetime game on ESPN2, which will be the first linear primetime regular game for the program. So that's good for the program to get eyeballs there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's why we are putting this schedule together and where we want to be. So, I talk about distractions and noise, but it's exactly the type of exposure we want on the program. And now it's just a matter of us, them doing what they need to do and just focusing and playing. And again, I'm not saying it's just a game, but this is something they love to do. And I want them to continue to have that passion and that love for things. And that's what I told them. Tomorrow, if we do bunt defense, that is just as fun and just as exciting as someone hitting a 2-run bomb, right? That's what our program is going to be at, is there's no small things. And so I love that we get that exposure and we continue to get it. And whether we make the games long or short, we have tended to make them a little longer than we need to these days, but people enjoy watching us. And I think that speaks to their passion for the sport and their teammates and playing for each other.
Good luck, Coach.
Have
All
fun.
Thanks,
Thank
Coach.
you, Coach.
Thanks, guys.